votes.
I'm sure that you hear from progressive voters, Democratic voters who say, as I hear from them on social media, the media made such a big deal out of Joe Biden's alleged cognitive problems. Why don't they talk about Donald Trump's?
Donald, it's just not working. You know it. The country is laughing at you. Eating pets? Really, Donald? That's all you got? It happens, Donald.
As Donald Trump's cognitive decline becomes clearer and clearer, it seems like the mainstream media becomes less concerned with covering it. Donald Trump's verbal miscues are not just simple mistakes anymore. They are a repeated pattern of him clearly losing it. The cognitive decline could not be more obvious and dangerous in Donald Trump. Now, of course, he has always been unfit to be president. He has always been a danger to democracy, but now more so than ever. And we saw an example of that yesterday when Donald Trump really just had a complete brain collapse that nobody is covering. He forgot where he was, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. And this is, like I said, becoming a more regular occurrence, but the media has failed to talk about it. And we saw this today when Jake Tapper decided he wanted to talk about Donald Trump asserting and falsely accusing VP Harris of not having the mental capacity to be president, when of course that is true of him. But thank goodness Nancy Pelosi was there to call it out. So before we take a look at Donald Trump's complete collapse, let's hear Nancy Pelosi push back against Jake Tapper in this clip right here.
I'm sure that you hear from progressive voters, Democratic voters who say, as I hear from them on social media, the media made such a big deal out of Joe Biden's alleged cognitive problems. Why don't they talk about Donald Trump's cognitive problems? Well, Donald Trump talked about that just a second ago, and I want to get your reaction. Let's run that clip.
They laugh at us all over the world. They're laughing at us. And you know what they're really laughing at? Kamala, because they can't believe that she's going to be president. They can't believe. You talk about cognitive problems? She's got bigger cognitive problems than he has, in my opinion.
Donald Trump saying that Kamala Harris has bigger cognitive problems than Joe Biden.
Why would you even cover that? This is a person who's not on the level. He is their nominee for president. He is incompetent. Let's not even talk about the silliness of it all and the weirdness of it all and the assault on women that it is. We're not going to talk issues. Incompetent. The only thing he did as president, when he had the majority, was to pass a bill that gave a tax cut that gave 83 of the benefits to the top 1%, adding $2 trillion to the national debt. The worst job creation record of anybody president since Herbert Hoover.
Because of COVID, yes.
Well, it's not because of COVID. We put $3 trillion into the economy when he was president, working with and the Congress working together. We put $3 trillion into the economy. So don't blame it on COVID. And what did he do with COVID? Denial and delay, responsible for thousands and thousands of people dying. So if you're going to forgive his job record because of COVID, make sure you attribute many of those deaths to him as well.
Not forgiving anything, just noting the content.
Incompetent. Forget silly and crazy and crooked and all the rest. Incompetent.
How has it become Nancy Pelosi's job to do the media's job and properly cover Donald Trump and to call out these ridiculous attacks that he's making against Kay Laiera, saying that she doesn't have the mental capacity to be president? Really, as we always say, every Republican attack, every Republican accusation is really just a confession, and chief among them is that right there for Donald Trump, it is an absolute ridiculous assertion to make, especially with what he said yesterday. Like I said at the beginning of this video, completely forgetting where he was. And I want to check that out in a Truth Social post that Donald Trump made yesterday after a rally in Savannah, Georgia. And that location is obviously incredibly important. Trump took to Truth Social after his rally, writing a great day in Louisiana now. Of course, TR wasn't in Louisiana. He was in Savannah, Georgia. And I don't know what candidate would be in Louisiana when you just want to focus on swing states 40 days out from the election, but who knows? That's besides the point. But Donald Trump forgetting where he was yesterday, and of course he can never admit a mistake, so he took the Truth Social to try to cover it up. Saying this, Trump wrote internal polling in Louisiana has me winning the state by the largest margin I've ever had, MAGA 2024. Like I said, Trump unable to admit a mistake, trying to cover it up. But what is incredibly clear here is Donald Trump, as we've seen him do repeatedly, does not know where he is anymore. And this would be different if he was everywhere all the time. And he was hitting different swing states, but it seems like Donald Trump's schedule lately has actually been pretty light. It's been about one event every 2 or 3 days. He's not really getting out on the campaign trail, and he only had the one event yesterday. So for him to make this mistake, especially considering why would he ever be in Louisiana with 40 days left until this election, and just shows that he is completely out of it, that his mind is not there anymore, and the media doesn't want to cover it, and of course we have to on this show. But there are also some organizations who I think are always doing a great job, and one of those is the Lincoln Project, and they perfectly mocked and called out Donald Trump for not only clearly losing his mind, losing this election in such a perfect way.
Donald, it's just not working. You know it. The country is laughing at you. Eating pets? Really, Donald? That's all you got? It happens, Donald. Even the best shows lose their audience and get canceled, and you are never the best show. 3 million more voted for Clinton.
God bless you!
7 more for Joe Biden. Now you're tanking in the polls. Let's face it, Donald, your ratings suck. Look around. All these people like Chris and Susie, you're paying them more money than they ever made. You think they really care about you? What do you think will happen when you lose? You're headed to court. They're buying beach houses. And when it happens, Ron DeSantis is going to laugh his ass off. Nobody likes you, Donald. You were useful until you weren't. Eating pets? Sorry, Donald. You're canceled.
If there's one thing that we know can get under Donald Trump's skin, it's talking about his bad ratings, or his shrinking crowds, or how he's growing a little bit less popular than usual with the Republican Party. Of course, we've seen more and more Republicans shift over to VP Harris. And as I've said before, that's not just great for winning this election. Of course, we want to make sure that Vice President Harris gets and exceeds that 270 electoral college number, but it's also uniting the country. Republicans coming over to VP Harris isn't just a political thing. It's about bringing us all together, moving on from the anger and division of Donald Trump, the reality clown show that has been the last 9 years with him, and of course, we do want to move on from that. That's why the best thing that Trump has said lately, and I don't know if I believe him, but is that if he loses this election, he's not coming back again. Isn't that all the incentive that we need? Isn't that all we could ever want to hear? Well, if you need another reason, and I don't know why you do, let's just take a look at his terrible economic agenda, which Jessica Taroff perfectly called out right here.
And when he continues to say, well, I'm going to do these things, I'm going to have the cost of energy. No plan to do it. The tariffs, that is not good economic policy. This is going to add a 20% tariff to some goods. That's not just something that you throw around. That's something that could be devastating for the American economy. And so you can rail about her, you can call her incompetent, and frankly, it's been shown as well that people do not take well to him standing up there and continually insulting her in that tone. But people are hearing what she's saying about her plans, the progress we've made, and what she's going to continue to do, and that's why his edge is being decreased every time a new survey comes out. Okay.
Independent economists, independent organizations are saying what we all know to be true. Donald Trump is just bad for business. He was bad for his own businesses, which he consistently bankrupted. And let's little reminder that he bankrupted a casino that's like impossible to do. But he's also, of course, bad for our business. He crashed the economy and he would do so again, talking about the 200 and 300% tariffs that he wants to implement, which even Mitch McConnell and other Republicans have just come out and said, he's playing dumb. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He never has. But especially as we talk about now, as his mind continues to go, he is even more of a danger. This is an absolutely unhinged person, and it's really just indefensible. Like I said, Mitch McConnell said he was stupid, but of course, the Fox propaganda network is going to be there to defend him, and they did with this clip right here.
All of that because I am your protector. I want to be your protector.
Now, Congresswoman, the left-wing media have been attacking him for that. Do women hate hearing a man say, I want to be your protector? And no women I know are offended by that, but apparently someone in the media is, and I guess the Democrats are.
No, not at all.
Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want Donald Trump to be my protector, and I'm sure that makes a lot of people uncomfortable just hearing that. I think he would be the opposite. Just such a weird clip. I don't know what's going on. They at Fox, again, lot of scraping the bottom of the barrel. I think they're trying to make up for Donald Trump being so upset with them for playing VP Harris ads. But if this is your attempt to do so, yeah, I don't really think it's working. And it's certainly not working with the Republicans who I have already mentioned who are moving over to VP Harris. And we see this in huge numbers. And I saw an awesome clip of a couple of Republicans, former Republicans, or at least Kamala Harris Republicans. Maybe they still keep the label and a Republicans for Harris event and the important swing state of Pennsylvania that I want to check out.
The Republicans for Harris event, what do you make of the Harris campaign trying to be a bit more bipartisan in their approach?
I like that if they're genuine about it and listening to both sides and hearing what the people really want. And there's a lot of really important issues out there.
You know, I've never been a part of something like this where the opposite party is coming in and saying, yeah, man, we're gonna do a little.
Like Tim Walz always says, don't we just want to have a nice family gathering without that crazy MAGA uncle talking about Trump? Don't we want to move on from that to a better time of unity, a time within reach? Well, we get to push forward for these next 40 days to get there, and we're going to be talking about that on the show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.